It's amazing what a tight election can do to a politician. A politician like Tate Reeves here, he just this weekend did a massive about face on a pretty important topic. It has to do with Medicaid coverage for women who have given birth. He now says, this is the first time ever, that he wants the state to allow a full year of Medicaid coverage to any woman after giving birth. And so he says he's willing to do that as, quote, a part our new pro-life agenda. He said more babies will be born because the US Supreme Court upended abortion rights nationwide last year with a case that originated in Mississippi. Bear in mind, Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the country, and about 60% of births in Mississippi are to women covered by Medicaid. The state usually allows 2 months of postpartum Medicaid coverage, which of course is not much. Now, this is amazing because look at what's happening. He said there are gonna be more births because of the Supreme Court decision, so maybe we should make sure that they're covered. That is likely to be true and a good way, one good way to deal with it. He says we're gonna do this because of our pro-life thing. This would be ideologically consistent with that. All of this on surface level makes perfect sense. He's never done it before. No other Republican has done it. And so I think it's probably important to bear in mind that according to a Mississippi Today Siena College poll last month, Reeves was just up 4 points on a challenger. That puts the race within the margin of error. Has a 54% unfavorable rating, probably coming from the Brett Favre volleyball facility scandal that we've covered multiple times. So again, I don't know that we can necessarily trust Francesca that they're actually gonna do this long term, but take a look at once he's worried about losing re-election, he's now got some empathy. He's tying it to his ideology in a way that seems shallowly consistent. It's pretty amazing. What do you think?
I think it is obviously a disgusting, cynical ploy, and the entire the pretending to care about women and poor women now that you're forcing people to give birth is really rich. And it's really important to remember that Mississippi, like I believe 12 to 14 other red states, have not expanded Medicaid under the ACA. Part of Obamacare was getting the federal government, again, not your pocketbook, the federal government pays for 90% of expanded Medicaid. So in Mississippi, that would be 700,000 people, including women and including poor kids, including people on disability, could receive Medicaid. And because it was Obama, these states have said, no, we will not expand Medicaid. And so ironically, if they want to now, because they want to do the Handmaid's Tale bait and switch for forced birthing, if they want to now expand Medicaid, they have to ask for a waiver from the federal government because they are non-compliant under the ACA as it stands. I mean, it is absolutely wild to me. So if you're like, oh, I'm sorry, can we get you to admit that the ACA was a good program and people did like it and you should have expanded this anyway? Again, I'm happy to get there to expand Medicaid if it means more young mothers, more mothers getting coverage who can't afford healthcare. But that doesn't mean that obviously the fight for reproductive rights ends at all in Mississippi nor anywhere.
Yeah, not at all. And who knows, if he wins re-election, he can cancel it or not actually push for it. Like, these are just promises, bear in mind. I also want to remind people, maybe this affects one of you, maybe it affects someone that you know. We're about to begin a period where states are going to begin checking people's eligibility for Medicaid for the first time in 3 years. So normally this is a thing that would be done. They would be checking to make sure based on your work history, how much you make, whether you actually qualify. During the pandemic, that was stopped temporarily. So people were able to stay on in some cases that wouldn't have under the previous system. Now, because they're gonna start doing those eligibility checks again, as many as 14 million people are estimated to potentially lose access to the coverage that they have right now. So,
yes. Wait, you have to know that in 2021, I'm sorry to do this background check right now. In 2021, Mississippians voted to expand Medicaid anyway. this is obviously in the end, in the wake of the pandemic, of course, but they, like many of these red states where their governors haven't expanded Medicaid access and their legislators haven't, they have done state ballot measures to try and expand Medicaid to help nearly 1 million people. And what happens? It gets invalidated. In Utah, they just the legislature completely overturned the people's will. In Mississippi, they got enough signatures, but then they said that because of a 2020 Supreme Court ruling, which I believe is around whether there is that Obamacare and the requirement to have health care is legal or not, the state government effectively suspended that ballot initiative and said there shouldn't be a vote on it, even though there were enough signatures to put it on the ballot because of that 2020 ruling from the Supreme Court. So, they're people, again, the people want it. The people in these red states want healthcare. And
they do. They've been very clear about that in a lot of different places, and unfortunately, Republican governors have stopped them from getting it.
Yeah.
And voter suppression has stopped those populations from getting a politician that will actually prioritize their interests. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.